Here we go. Monday afternoon, 79 days before the NFL season starts up on September 9th. I've got the first overall pick. Don't love it. I mean, I'm going to snatch up Gibbs here. I haven't taken Gibbs in any of my $25 drafts here. We definitely want to take down this $3 million. Or, I'll be happy with the second or third place prize as well, of course. But we're going to start out with Gibbs here in this draft. And where's my little thingy here? Here we go. And I already know that I'm going to start with Gibbs. So let's check this out now. Now, in week 17, the Lions are going to play the Bears. For the rest of their schedule here, let's see here. In week 15, it's the Vikings. We've got the Giants in week 16. I like this game in a dome. Let's see. 2 of the 3 playoff games are in a dome for the Lions. Nice. I especially like this Bears game in week 17 and this Giants game in week 16. So we'll see if we can't get some Bears and Giants on this team as well. All right, let's kick it off. Only 79 days left to draft, so we really got to start grinding these out. I mean, talking about meta strategy a little bit, I like to kind of iron out my strategy in the cheaper drafts, and not take, I don't want to go in blind to the millionaire contest. So I'll do a lot of the other one. I hate that the King of the Desert the contest. The King of the Desert contest, I don't know about that. I don't really like playing those. I mean, I've thrown a couple of the $1 drafts at it, just messing around, seeing what I could pull off if I were to build certain stacks or build my team in certain ways. But really, I don't even want to win that. I mean, I don't even know what it is, honestly. It's some contest that takes place in Vegas. I don't want to go out there. No, thank you. I hope you can sell it. If you do win it, I hope I can sell that ticket. Really, in those ones, I'd rather win second place than first place. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, the Pocket Cup one. The Pocket Cup one is great, where you can win, I don't know, I think you win $1,000 ticket or a $1,200 ticket or something into a really nice contest where you can win $100,000, and it's a small field contest too. Or the $3 one where you can win $100,000. I actually take that one kind of seriously, so I don't look at that one like a practice draft. But a lot of these cheaper ones, that's where I go to build my strategy and to try to figure out exactly, what kind of teams I could build. And I haven't done so many of these millionaire drafts yet, but, as we get closer to the season, I'm going to start focusing more on this contest because I really want to win it. Of course, everyone really wants to win it. Let's see here. No surprises just yet, really. No, none at all, actually. Jefferson went 6th overall. I guess you could say that that's a surprise. Don't love that pick, James. We'll see what else he does, though. He might salvage it. Now, with picks 24 and 25 coming up in the turn here, in the second and third round, do I want to do something extreme? Or do I want to just play it safe and grab just a couple of either running backs or wide receivers here? But I could get crazy, go after Josh Allen maybe, or one of the elite tight ends if they're still there. Sometimes they go a little bit earlier. Sometimes people snatch them up, and it's probably worth doing that. But there are a lot of valuable tight ends, more so than people think. And the league is kind of changing towards a 2 tight end strategy. Almost every team wants to play with 2 tight ends and 2 receiving tight ends that they can target. So, there's a lot of valuable guys later on in the draft, but there's no questioning, the top few guys are head and shoulders above everyone else. But, there's a few people who could emerge to that higher level as well. Tyler Warren could get up there. Isaiah Likely maybe. Tyler Conklin is on the Lions now, and Laporta is a little bit banged up. And I remember, when Conklin was on the Jets, he really showed some skills. They used to call him Gronklin. Maybe we see Maybe we see a bust out year from Tyler Conklin in Detroit. That's very possible. And you can get him in the 19th or the 20th round. All right, we're getting close here. Let's see who's going to be available. Let's check this out. All right. Bowers and McBride are still there, at least now. There's still 3 more picks, so they might get snatched. But Henry. And we should go back. Checking this out. Boom. You can get that playoff matchup chart for free in the description of this video and most of my videos. Let's see here. I would have rather taken Brock Bowers. I'm not feeling as quite. I mean, Trent McBride is a beast. It's just they have quarterback issues. And you know what? I think George Pickens is a pretty safe pick. And let's take Kyren Williams as well. The Rams just have a really great offensive line. I don't expect that to change. Bringing in Garrett to beef up their defense, probably, maybe that helps them stay out of shootouts a little bit, and they focus a little bit more on the run game and try to control the clock. But of course, the Rams are definitely going to be heaving the ball with Stafford downfield to Puka and Devonta Adams, but Kyren Williams is a touchdown machine, and their offensive line is so good. Their offensive line is so good that he doesn't even have to be the most talented running back in the league to produce like that. He's just in a really good position. I guess that's the best way to say it. The Rams are looking real good, and they're going to hand him the rock. They're going to hand him the rock a lot. And I think, what do you have, 15, 16, 17 touchdowns last year? I mean, that's counting playoffs, but still. Let's see. He had 2 rushing touchdowns in his playoff game against Chicago, but, I mean, so that's still 15 touchdowns. Beast. And, Gibbs, we'll see what happens over there in Detroit. I was already talking about Conklin, but, of course, Montgomery left too. They brought in Pacheco, who I think is a step down for Montgomery. So does that mean they lean on Gibbs a little bit more? I mean, everyone seems to think so. That's why he's basically the consensus number 1 overall pick. Although a lot of people were taking shots on him number 1 overall, last year too. And he did. I don't know if he didn't produce like number 1 pick last year, but he produced really well. I mean, 22 points a game, it could be argued he did. But also, Bijan also had that. A couple of these other guys in the first round also have extremely high points per game. Chase did without Burrow even being there most of the season. Puka, of course. JSN. I mean, and then we dropped down to like 12 points a game or something with Jefferson. I can't believe they took him 6th overall. Yep, 12.4. Quarterback situation did not really get any better. Offensive line situation is not that much better. Those are the reasons why Jefferson had a bad year. It wasn't like he had a down year and he's going to bounce back now. I mean, yeah, sure, maybe if they improve the situation. But do you really think Kyler Murray is that much of an improvement? I don't. I mean, I don't even think he's going to hold on to that. Be right back to slapnuts before you know it, So, Justin Jefferson, that's a risky pick right there, 6th overall. I mean, if he, I've seen him fall, into the 2nd round, and at that point, maybe, sure, maybe he's worth taking. I mean, that guy did get a good value on Achane and Josh Allen. So his team is coming along okay, but, man, Jefferson 6th, when he could have taken McCaffrey, St. Brown, Taylor, Lamb. I mean, and then it could be argued after that. But, I mean, those guys, geez, I think head and shoulders have to be taken before Jefferson. Oh, man, I hate having first pick and having to wait so long between picks. That's the worst part about having first pick. This is actually the 2nd draft in a row where I had the first pick, which makes it even more annoying. Although it's nice. It's nice when you're, like I say, I like to do the lower stakes drafts to iron out my strategy. And it is nice when you're, when you have a similar, because you're your trial getting ready pre-draft doesn't do you any good if you're not picking anywhere near the same draft slots. So even though the first slot is probably my least favorite slot, at least it is the same as the practice one that I just did. Although I already have completely I've already completely drafted a different team, but okay. Here we are. What do we do? What do we do? All right, we got Chicago Swift in that nice Week 17 matchup right there. I could grab up Jameson Williams and maybe think about grabbing Goff later. I don't love Goff particularly. Maybe I just want to stack my running backs a little bit stronger. It's a little bit early to take Tyler Warren, I would say. I could go Waddle. You know what? I don't have a whole lot of Waddle yet. Do I want to do it in this 25? Yeah, let's do it. I have barely any Waddle, and I do expect him to produce a lot out there in Denver with Bo Nix. So I'm not sure. I think it's just kind of where his ADP is. You know, I like Devonta Adams. I like Mike Evans. I like all these other guys a lot as well who get drafted around similar position in the draft. Now, let's go back here. Check this out. Let's make this a little bit smaller. Yeah. All right. So now I have Denver and Dallas in the mix. The Denver Broncos play the Patriots in Week 17. Dallas plays the Giants. My running backs are extremely strong so far. I might want to nab one more up and really have an edge in my running back position compared to everyone else, as long as I could figure out a way to not fall behind everywhere else, of course. But, you do kind of, or at least I do, I always kind of like to leave myself a little bit short in at least one position and then try to make up for it later. I think that's really a big part of winning. I mean, if you can get extreme value on your other positions by kind of fading one of your positions or a couple, and then you can hit on the right guys later. I mean, that's the way. That's how you do it. That's how you win that $3 million. We'll see, but we'll see. We have to depend on these other drafters to hopefully make some mistakes and pick the wrong guys and have some luck fall right in our hands. It's a big part of it too. If you're in a draft with 11 other sharps, it's going to be real hard to walk away with a unique team. You need a couple of these guys making ridiculous picks at ridiculous times. Just a couple, There's not a whole lot going on to that effect right now. I actually do like James's Jefferson 6th overall team so far, except for Jefferson 6th overall. Rest of his team is pretty nice. He's not the automatic loser that I thought he was when we were just getting through the first round. We'll see what happens. Really, it's the end of the draft. That determines, who's going to win and who's going to lose. But he's off to a decent start. Okay, we're coming right up. These guys are going to let me get Caleb, it looks like, unless he gets snatched right before me. And take a quick peek. I could take Stevenson for that Week 17 matchup. myself a couple more seconds. Take Caleb off the board. Thank you very much. One solid quarterback. Now, Stevenson. He did have a better year than Henderson last year. Do I expect that again, though? That's the thing. Do I take another stud quarterback? Let's roll with Stevenson. Now, haven't really done what I was just talking about, and that is fade one of my positions. I mean, obviously I don't have a tight end, but neither does almost everybody. Top 4 tight ends have gone. Those are kind of the known guys. I happen to think that there are quite a few valuable tight ends to be had later. I mean, these guys that already got taken, though, they are the most consistent guys, the guys you can lean on the most weeks, the guys you could possibly build a 2 tight end team with. It's still risky. Most of the time with those guys, I still like to take 3 tight ends. Most of the time, I do. At least one of them is going to be a super late round guy. But you don't want to be in a position where, an injury to your top tight end is just giving you a 0 for the whole year. That's just not a position you want to be in. You have absolutely no chance if that were to happen. But I do think that you can take 3 or possibly even 4 later tight ends and compete on a weekly basis with a lot of these guys who've taken, who spent high draft capital on one of these other, the better tight ends. But by doing that, they left themselves a little bit short at some other positions, and that's why I'm stronger than most at running back. I mean, I only have 2 wide receivers to this point, but there's tons of wide receivers later through the draft. I'm not worried about that even a little bit. I'm going to want to get at least one more solid quarterback. We'll see how everyone else plays quarterback. That's kind of what I do. I kind of see what the quarterback strategy is for the rest of the room. And, if a lot of these guys start going, I will certainly take another quarterback with one of my next 2 picks. But, let's see. I've got George Pickens and I've got Waddle. So I could think about going Dak. Wait, did Dak get taken? No. He's probably going to get taken before my pick, though, right? I have 96. I think that he's like 80. Yeah, there he goes right there. That's fine. We don't need Dak, and I don't love Dak anyways. He is a great regular season quarterback, and, that's all you need for best ball, regular season, right? So, there's definitely a chance that he's one of the optimal quarterbacks for your optimal team or whatever, but it's definitely not a definite. And what I could do is I could think of, let's see, George Pickens. Dallas plays the Giants in week 17, so I could start stacking up some Giants weapons. I could get Jackson Dart and Isaiah Likely maybe, and then I could look at Malachi Fields later on in the draft. I've done that so many times because you can just get great value on Jackson Dart. I mean, are you guys looking? Did you guys see his game log from last year? Because I mean, I don't want to say it too loud. I don't want too many of you guys to notice, but you guys realize that he had the second most fantasy points per game last year, right? I mean, not literally. He didn't literally, because he had 2 weeks in the beginning of the season with a 0 because he came in for 1 snap and handed off the ball for 1 play, which gave him a big fat 0 for 2 weeks. But if you take those away, I'm pretty sure Josh Allen is the only quarterback with more fantasy points per game. So there's extreme value on Jackson Dart. Also, people are sleeping on Malachi Fields, the rookie wide receiver the Giants took in the 3rd round from Notre Dame. He played for Virginia before that. He's a skyscraper. He didn't run the fastest 40, and that knocked him down in the draft just a little bit. But his tape is way more important than that 40 time, and it just shows that he dominates on the field. And Malik Neighbors is probably going to be injured. Look at me, I'm talking myself into taking Jackson Dart here, ain't I? It certainly seems that way. But we'll see what happens. Let's see who else we have up here. We have Kenneth Gainwell. My running backs are already strong, but do I want to just hammer it and screw everyone else that doesn't already have a decent amount of running backs? Let's see whatever the rest of the running backs look like. We got 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 4, 3. Oh, if I take Kenneth Gainwell here. Oh, he just got taken. Okay. I was going to say I could really screw everyone over here. Okay. And I would have been done at running backs right there if I did that. So now, I think I am going to take Jackson Dart here. He's just a beast. He's got that rushing upside. Let's see. Do I want to snatch? Let's take him. Give myself a couple more seconds here. I do like to have both of my picks already picked when I have two in a row most of the time. But this is not going exactly the way I thought I could. Do I snatch up Goff too? Oh man, that would be, that's going to leave me short. Let's, man, I don't love that click. I don't love that click, Michael Pittman. But here's the thing. I'm a little bit higher on the Steelers than the field, I believe. I don't necessarily think they're going to be world beaters, but I do think Aaron Rodgers is going to be better. I think it's kind of going to be his last hurrah year. They did surround him with some nice pieces. I mean, they brought in Pittman from Indianapolis. They drafted Jeremy Bernard from Alabama. They still have DK Metcalf. I mean, he's got Freiermuth. He's got that big, what's his name, Darnell, I think. Washington is his last name. I think it's Darnell Washington. Guy's a giant. They just gave him a nice contract. So Aaron Rodgers has quite a few weapons to distribute the ball to. And I do think that, whatever it takes, if he's got to go sit in the quiet room, do some meditating, or who knows what he's going to do, go to some other country and get some crazy testosterone procedure or something that's probably not allowed. Whatever he's got to do, he's going to do it. And I think that the Steelers are going to have a really good year. And because of that, people are a little, because everyone doesn't think that, because everyone doesn't agree with me, people are a little bit low on Michael Pittman and some of the other Steelers weapons. And I'm not trying to hammer them. I'm not trying to go take up the Steelers in every draft or anything. But, when I can get some value on certain guys like Michael Pittman, when my wide receiver room is a little bit thin at this point, even though that is intentional because there's some guys later on that I do want to snatch up. But, I do need to make sure that I get some solid veterans in here who are going to put up some points and have a decent floor so that I'm not putting myself at such a disadvantage by taking some shots later on with some guys who might have super high ceilings, but who knows what their floor is yet until we see exactly how their teams are going to utilize them. I'm talking about rookie wide receivers for the most part, a couple running backs as well, and tight ends even. But I was talking about the wide receivers mostly. There was a ton of wide receivers taken in the first 3 rounds of the draft. And you don't take a wide receiver in the first 3 rounds of the draft unless you plan on using him. Of course, some of these guys are just going to be bums. Some of them are not going to be hard workers. Some of them are going to just think that they made it and they don't have to work hard anymore. You always have guys like that. And those guys are going to be landmines. But there's a lot of really, really good wide receiver talent coming into the league, more so than usual. I'm not new to nerding out on the draft. I didn't just start nerding out on the NFL draft when best ball started up 6 or 7 years ago. I was already nerding out on the draft for such a long time. I mean, going back to at least the 1990s. I used to sit there with my notebook and I would make predictions and I would track the whole draft. I would write down every single pick as it happened so I could study it afterwards. I've always loved the NFL draft for whatever reason, even before it was a huge spectacle. When it used to be on Saturdays and Sundays, all day. The good old days. All right. Coming up on 120 and 121. I could think about stopping at 2 quarterbacks here with Dart and Caleb. I may do that. Everyone seems to think that you need 3 quarterbacks. Maybe that's the case if you don't get a stud or 2. But I mean, if you already have two quarterbacks with a 20-point floor like I've got, if I take Daniel Jones or I take Shedeur Sanders, are they ever going to outscore Caleb Williams and Jackson Dart and get in my lineup? Not so sure about that. So while there's a little bit of safety to it, that 3rd quarterback, and there's definitely some benefit in the playoff weeks too, weeks 15, 16, and 17. You just have a better chance of your guys not laying an egg. when it matters most, and that's the worst, of course. But you know what? I'm trying to win. I'm trying to win, and this ain't the only draft I'm going to do. So I'm going to draft a ton of other drafts with a ton of other quarterback combinations. And I think that, if Caleb and Jackson Dart both have a good season, there's no reason for me to take a third quarterback. And if they don't have a good season, I already lose. So what am I really taking that third quarterback for in this lineup? That is not really understood by me. It's just not. Okay, so I gotta stack up likely with Dart here. I just have good value on that, and I could think, is there? No, I don't want to take these guys. I could take Casey Concepcion, who I do like, and honestly, I don't have quite as much as him as I thought I would have at this point. Because I've been taking Denzel Boston a lot, who I think I like just a little bit more. I'm taking Stephon Diggs. You know what? Stephon Diggs is not on a team right now, but he's been cleared to sign with somebody. A lot of people think, including the little description news thing here on DraftKings, thinks that there's a good chance that he signs with the Commanders, and the Commanders do not have many receiving weapons. I mean, they've got Terry McLaurin, and then after that, it's like, what? They have that rookie, Antonio Williams. Maybe he's good, but they don't really have so many veteran receiving weapons for Daniels to throw to. So, I mean, it just makes sense that they would sign Stephon Diggs, and it also makes sense that he was going to be their number 2 wide receiver, or maybe their number 1A wide receiver. He's going to get a lot of targets. He's going to, I don't know if he's going to have a 1,000-yard season, but it should be close, 700, 800, 900 yards at least. And he should be a red zone target. He should get some touchdowns. He should have a couple of spike weeks where he sneaks into the lineup. And I think that, at his current ADP in the 130s, it's good value. And I just knew that he was going to get taken before it gets back to me here. I picked 144 in the 12th round. I knew that he would have been taken, even if it was just a little bit before me, he would have got taken before me. And considering I only had 3 wide receivers on my team, this guy, I mean, in the 11th round, I'm taking a, wide receiver 1A. Hopefully, if he was to sign with the Commanders. There's no guarantee that he's going to sign with the Commanders. But, I mean, who's going to sign him? Any team that does sign, somebody's going to sign him. He's a good wide receiver. And any team that does sign him is going to sign him because they're weak in their wide receiver room. And if they're weak in their wide receiver room, he's going to walk in somewhere and be somebody's number 1 or number 2 or maybe a number 1A kind of situation like it would be in the Commanders for somebody. He just is. And for that kind of production in the 11th round, I actually think that that one's not so much of a flyer pick. That one's almost a floor establisher. I mean, I know it's kind of taking a shot because he's not even on a team, but I have to think that regardless who he signs with, he's got to be good for 10, 15 points every week, and then, to just keep it from taking zeros. And then he's got to sneak in there with some spike weeks. And, even when everyone else is performing, he's going to have a few weeks where he just gets in there and has a better week than my other guys. So, I expect him to have at least a few weeks with 20, 25, maybe even 30 points, almost regardless of where he signs. I mean, there's a couple places. I mean, I don't think he's going to go to the Jets because they have a lot of weapons. That would be crappy for him. Quarterback wise, I mean, not just because they have a lot of weapons is why they're not going to bring him in. But if he were to go there, that would be a crappy fit because they have a crappy quarterback situation. Same with Minnesota. Same with Miami. But, barring those places, if he was to sign anywhere, he's going to be a productive wide receiver. So to nab him up in the 11th round, I'm feeling real good about that. And we'll see. And yeah, I think Caleb and Dart, I think it's safe. I think it's safe to stop at 2. So that is what I'm going to do. Oh. Excuse me. I really should figure out the mute button on this thing. Whatever. I'm human. That proves it. Although the way I draft kind of disproves it, right? Draft like a robot, like a computer. Calculating. picking up patterns, visualizing formulas, taking down the field. I'm gonna have some good week 17 finishes this year. I can feel it. I did the research. I'm ahead of the field in so many places, and I've done a lot of different combinations, a lot of different tournaments. Hopefully, it's one of these bigger tournaments with the bigger buyouts. But I'm gonna have me some good week 17 finishes. Christmas, it's gonna be a good Christmas this year. I'm gonna have big old fat freaking deposits into my DraftKings account from these best ball tournaments right at Christmas, New Year's. It's a coming. All right. 144. 44. I'm going to take Woody Marks and Hunter Henry. Now I am done at running back because I started so strong. There's no reason for me to take more than 5 in this draft. Again, I'm not drafting running backs down here just in case these guys up here get hurt because, if Gibbs or Kyron and if these guys miss significant time, I already lose. Just for the same exact reason why I'm not taking a third quarterback in this draft. I do take 3 quarterbacks in many drafts, so don't think that that's a hard rule. But for the same reason, I spent really high draft capital on those guys. So if they get hurt, this isn't the one. This isn't the one where I win. So I'm not drafting for that situation. I need more points. More points in all my positions, except for running back and quarterback. So it's going to be all wide receivers and tight ends from here out. Looks like we got 7 picks left. Seven picks left. Definitely. So I'll probably end up with 4 tight ends. Maybe. We'll see. See how everyone else drafts. I'm going to end up with extreme value. That I know. But I can't predict what these other guys are going to do, so who knows exactly where that's going to come from. And I did say I was done at running back, but I will tell you, if Jonah Coleman falls to 168 or 169, I will snatch him up. I just will. He's a beast. He should be getting drafted way higher than where he's getting drafted, especially after the RJ Harvey secret surgery news or whatever. Listen, Jonah Coleman is already better than RJ Harvey. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter if RJ Harvey has a secret surgery. I mean, it could be positive, I suppose. He could get a little bit of an opportunity a little bit quicker. But he's already going to make his stake to the carries, a lot of them. That's for sure. And I highly doubt, in the last draft I did, he actually did fall past that point. And I still didn't take him. But, because I already have high exposure to him, and my running backs were already pretty stacked at that point. But in this draft here, it's going to be real hard for me, even though I still really need to beef up my wide receivers and tight ends. I feel good about Likely and Henry, but they're both a little bit inconsistent. I think Likely's going to be a little bit better with the Giants than he was with the Ravens, but I still don't necessarily expect him to be a 20 points every week kind of guy. It's going to be a, here and there kind of thing. Man, tickle my throat. And just by, I did have to spend high draft capital on Caleb and Jackson Dart here. I took them both in the first 8 rounds, but by doing that and deciding that I'm set, it just allows my team is going to feel a little bit deeper than everyone else's. Now, like I said, if one of those guys gets hurt and misses significant time, that's not good. Either the other guy has to be the best quarterback in the league or I lose. Both of those guys have a chance to be the best quarterback in the league. So, maybe, I'm leaving. I left myself open for a slight possibility, but I'm not drafting in case of injuries, especially not in this $25 tournament. This is the one where I want to win. I want to take risks, not be safe. Jonah Coleman did fall down to me. That's insane. These people smoking crack. Have they not seen this guy's run style? Have they not seen how well he catches the ball, how soft his hands are? That's insane. Let's grab Coleman, and let's grab Flournoy too. I have hardly any Flournoy, so we'll balance that out with a little bit of millionaire exposure here. But of course, he's the third option at best, and the top 2 options are really good. But if either one of those guys, Lamb or Pickens, were to get hurt, Flournoy becomes a step-in beast. And since I already have Pickens, it's a little bit of security. It's not in case of injury kind of thing necessarily, but obviously, if Pickens were to get hurt, that would be really good for Flournoy. And if Pickens doesn't get hurt, it's going to be real hard for Flournoy to ever get in the lineup. Although, look at this. 29 points in week 14. 21 points in week 5. Jeez. So, he had a couple of really nice spike weeks. And that's all I need from him. And in week 15 or in round 15, if you're going to come through with me, come through for me and have 2 weeks there where you smash and score 25, 30 points. That's all I need. 15th round pick. Slide in my lineup 2 or 3 times. More than worth it. More than worth it. So right now, my wide receivers, Pickens, Waddle, Pittman, Diggs, and Flournoy. I feel really good about all of them except for Flournoy. But Flournoy's the kind of guy, he's the kind of chance that you could take where he's just, he's less is expected of him, So there's going to be less teams with valid possible chances of winning who have him on their team. I think that a lot of times you're going to get Cowboys fans who are just stacking up a bunch of Cowboys and throwing their picks in the wind. And there's so many Cowboys fans. There's enough to take to have that happen the majority of the time. Of course, you have your sharp people from other fan bases and who just are aware. I'm back. Coming up on 192 and 193. Okay, so Jeremy Bernard. I really like Jeremy Bernard, and he just got taken here on the opposite side of the board. That stinks. Hopefully we still have Malachi Fields. He should be there waiting for me. I'm definitely done at running back, so it's got to be either wide receiver or tight end. And let's snatch. 16, 26. He got a couple of decent weeks. I'm definitely taking Malachi Fields. I have a lot of Hurst. I've been taking Ridley more than I would like to recently. I mean, there's a chance he has a good season. Could take hours. All right, let's just take Booty. I don't have a lot of him either, and you know that's another. So now we have one New England, Denver, New England, Denver. So we've got a couple pieces of that game. Did we end up getting any Bears? Got Swift. Oh yeah, Caleb. Yeah, Swift and Caleb. No receiving options for Caleb though. Let's go here, see who we got for Bears. Khalif Raymond. Don't love him. Cole Kmet could be a sleeper. Not my favorite flyer tight end. I think we're good on Bears. People do look. I could take a late flyer on Sam Roush. It's possible. We'll see what happens. So Butte and Flournoy are kind of risky, but they're the kind of risks that pay off. They could be low-owned guys in the playoffs and be the guy that you need. You can't draft all the same guys all the time. I mean, you can. Well, not completely. Let's see here. With 216 and 217 coming right up, we'll see what we got going on here. Boom. I've taken a lot of Keon Coleman, but that's for good reason. He's a good player, and there's going to be a couple weeks where Josh Allen just makes him a stud, and then it will be like he doesn't exist for most of the season. But there's going to be some weeks where. So let's take Keon Coleman, grab another wide receiver who could possibly score some good points. And I could go Darnell Washington. Could go Parkinson, Stowers. A lot of these guys are going to have decent years. I could probably wait until my last pick. But let's just take. No one's going to take him. I'm going to take Conklin, and I might end this. It looks like I'm going to end this draft with 2 tight ends. I think that's my weakest point on the team where I need a little bit more depth. I mean, it could be argued that wide receiver is, but George Pickens should be perennially in my lineup. Maybe not with Waddle and Pittman, but these guys, between the two of them, one of them should basically always be in my lineup. Steph Diggs is supplying that floor, like I said, for that 3rd spot. But then we really have Malachi Fields, who's basically going to be the Giants' best receiver this year, unless Malik Neighbors has a miraculous recovery. So this is a starter right here. Most weeks, I'm telling you, Malachi Fields is going to be in my starting lineup most weeks. Flournoy, Butte, Coleman, whatever we can get from them, whenever we can get for them, will be bonus. Hopefully they can score a little bit more than my other guys sometimes. I mean, my running backs are just completely stacked. I'm going to score more points between my running back spots at basically every week than every other person. Way out in front of them. All these people had to take these bogus guys, just wasting roster spots. Basically everyone I took after Jonah Coleman. I mean, Sampson's all right. I mean, these are all bullshit picks. Every single one of them. I mean, you don't want to. Washington, Katron Allen, these guys are flyers. Who knows about them? But for the most part, all 20 of these running backs that just got taken in the last couple of rounds, wasted roster spots completely. So if you're fading running backs until this point in the draft, you're almost forfeiting. I mean, sure. I mean, a lot of people know what I'm saying right now. So if you can identify the right guys and you can build that team just perfect, maybe you can be unique. Maybe that's what you need to win. It's very possible. It certainly does not seem like it. I really do not think. I mean, there's probably 1 or 2 guys in here that are going to perform way better than everybody thinks. But I'll tell you what, most of them are like definitely not. Definitely. So, we'll see. I'm going to be finishing this draft off with pick 240, the last pick in the whole draft. Had the first pick, now I got the last pick. That's the way it goes, you know. And we'll just see here. And do I take that Chicago tight end just to further stack it up and to beef up my tight ends a little more? I mean, what are my other options? I mean, I could take Cole Kmet, also Chicago. And probably it's probably going to be Loveland and Kmet out there most of the time. Could take Eli Stowers, who might just step in and take most of the targets from Goddard, maybe. It's possible. I could take Theo Johnson, the other Giants tight end. I just might do that. I got Dart. I've got a couple of Dallas weapons for that Week 17 matchup. He usually doesn't make it to the last pick of the draft either, so it's hard to say it's value when it's the last pick of the draft, but it seems like it is a little bit. Someone usually now, Ali Gordon is still here too. I'm definitely good on running backs, but Ali Gordon is going to have a better season than the last 15, 20 running backs that just got taken in this draft. So for him to go undrafted is just ridiculous. it gives me a little bit more confidence that these guys in this draft were not, in fact, as smart as I gave them credit for earlier. Let's check out our Jefferson guy and see what he ended up doing. He took Jefferson, which was super questionable, 6th overall. Then he took H.N. Allen and Williams. Good picks, good picks, good picks. Watson, very, very risky. He's probably not going to perform well enough to be a 5th-round pick. But Brian Thomas Jr. I actually think is going to perform way better than a 6th-round pick. That was solid. Godwin, we'll see about health, but if he's healthy, that's a good pick too. Addison is a really good player, but, just like this guy took Jefferson and Addison. Who's going to throw him the ball, bro? Who's going to throw him the ball? The midget? Am I allowed to say midget on here? The little guy? The 5'5" freaking quarterback who he needs a boost? You got to have your fullback lean over and put his hands out and give him a boost to see over the offensive line. You think he's getting the ball to Jefferson and Addison? I don't think so. And then at the end of the draft, he really threw some darts. I like Skylar Bell and Parkinson. Okay, so those were decent picks. Chris Bell, Ray Davis, he needs injury. Sean Tucker, he's better than most running back 3s, but he's still a running back 3. And he doesn't, it's not like Jonah Coleman, the running back 3 that I took. Yeah, sure, he's a running back 3 technically, but like I said earlier, there was that secret surgery to RJ Harvey, and then also Jonah Coleman's going to steal carries from those guys because he's just the best running back on the team. That is not the case with Sean Tucker. Okay? Gainwell is way better. Bucky Irving is way better. They're better in every aspect. Running, catching, blocking. Tucker, Yeah, these, I think well, all right. That was him. And looking at my team, we have Gibbs, Pickens, Kyron Williams, Swift, Waddle, Caleb Williams, Ramondre Stevenson, Jackson Dart, Michael Pittman Jr., Isaiah Likely, Stephon Diggs, Woody Marks, Hunter Henry, Jonah Coleman, what is this guy? I don't even know. Ryan Flournoy. I didn't even know Flournay's first name. Malachi Fields, Keyshawn Butte, Keon Coleman, Tyler Conklin, and Theo Johnson. That's a pretty solid team. It's not my favorite team. I like this team a lot. I'm going to give it a solid 6.5 out of 10 on the old Drafto scale. Hopefully I can win. Let's see, looking around, who else? We already found the Jefferson guy that didn't like his team. Let's find a team that we do like. So this guy had JSN and Rashee Rice and got really good value on McBride in the 3rd round. He got Scadaboo, Montgomery, and Houston, who I think is going to lose a lot of touches to Woody Marks, but he could be okay. Marvin Harrison is just not his dad. Never going to be. He's just he's an 8-10 point floor. That's what he is, with very minimal ceiling. Kraft is solid. Mahomes is risky with his injuries. He's really banged up. I think that the Chiefs might be a little bit more of a rushing team this year, especially for the first half of the season, with Walker the third in there, while Mahomes is kind of rehab. Of course, Mahomes is gonna do Mahomes things, even when he's banged up. But his mobility is going to be limited. It's probably going to mess with his throwing mechanics. I don't expect him to have it together. I like my guy. Shakir is a flyer. In the 10th round, he's going to have a couple of good weeks. It's probably a decent pick. Tracy, 125. He reached for Tracy a little bit. I think Tracy's ADP is somewhere in the mid 130s, but he's a pretty good player, I suppose. And considering, he's got Scadaboo and Tracy. That's an okay team. It wasn't. I thought this was going to be a good one when I So the first couple picks, not so much. Let's see here. Let's see what this guy in the 12 hole did. He took James Cook and Saquon. He took Ibuka, and I hate Garrett Wilson just because he's on the Jets. Make me throw up in my mouth. They've got a lot of pieces to divvy up the touches to, and they've got a lot of problems. But he is obviously their most talented player. Henderson, Odunze, Sutton, Reed, Love, Nix. You know what? I don't see any other teams in here that I necessarily love. Let's see here. Okay, so this guy, here's someone who started strong. This guy took CeeDee Lamb, Walker, got great value on Neighbors, even though you can get a little bit better value on him right now. Taking one of the most talented wide receivers in the league in the third round. Good value. I mean, we'll see what happens. Maybe he's hurt for half the season. I think it's probably going to be the first 4 or 5 weeks. But still, great value. He basically got the 3 best wide receivers in the NFC East with Lamb, Neighbors, and McLaurin. Judkins is a super strong running back too. He got Tyler Warren, who I love. He got Dak Prescott to pair up with CeeDee Lamb. Michael Wilson is a great pick. Rashad White is a good pick. Ricky Pearsall is a flyer, but he's one of those guys who he could help you win. Jalen Coker is pretty good. I have low exposure to him, but he's a very talented player. And Carolina is on the upswing a little bit. I like Okonkwo. I think that they don't have that many weapons in Washington, and he's very solid. Brissett has job security issues. I like him. He's a good player, especially considering you have Michael Wilson to pair with him as well. But I think Carson Beck is probably going to take his job at some point during the year. And it's not even going to be Jacoby Brissett's fault. It's just going to be the fans clamoring. And but, until that happens, he's decent. Naylor, Geno Smith, These back picks, this team started really strong, but really finished weak with Geno and Lloyd and Blue. And I mean, all these running backs that aren't going to do anything. Surratt, I really do not like at all. I mean, he didn't look, his tape doesn't look good, and he played in Indiana with the number 1 overall pick quarterback. I mean, if Fernando Mendoza is good enough to be the number 1 overall pick, and it was known forever before the draft, and he was obviously head and shoulders better, the best quarterback in college football, why is Elijah Surratt's tape not better? It's just not good. If you watch his highlights, it seems okay, but watch his every target and touch tape. It's not good. He makes a lot of mistakes. He runs a lot of crappy routes. The defenders dominate him all the time. So whatever, he's not my favorite pick. I have taken him a couple times, but I'm probably not going to take him anymore. So there we go. Looking around, I think I have the best team in this draft. My original grade was 6.5 out of 10, but I think I got to bump it up to 7 or 7.5, considering it doesn't look like anyone else in this draft has a chance to compete with me. I almost certainly am making the playoffs in this. We'll see about advancing, but I'm at least going to make it to the playoffs with this lineup. Thank you very much. Another Millionaire Maker best ball draft with a chance to win $3 million. Honestly, I probably don't have a chance to win $3 million in this one. I really need to, in order for that to happen, you're going to need to hear me say 9 or 10 out of 10 at the end of one of these videos. But you never know what can happen. What if Jalen Waddle is just incredibly way better than he ever was in Miami with Bo Nix? It's possible he could be. I mean, that's what happened with Pickens when he went to Dallas. We all knew he was really good, but did we know he was that good? Did we know he was top tier NFL wide receiver good? I'm not sure we knew that. And that's, Jalen Waddle is not as old as it seems like he is, because he got drafted when he was super young. Caleb Williams now. Caleb Williams could, I don't even want to say come out of nowhere, because he came out of last year. We all saw him take a huge step up last year. But he might take another step up. And if he does, Caleb Williams has a legitimate chance to be QB1. And so does Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart, like I said, take away those 2 zeros, and his points per game looks drastically better. And I've heard a couple of other analysts saying, oh, Jackson Dart had a couple of really bad. No, he didn't. He didn't have a couple of he had 1 really bad game. And then I mean, we have one game with 1 point here against Minnesota. I don't remember exactly what happened in that game, but every other week we have really good scores. These 2 weeks he wasn't the starter in week 2 and week 3. I know that you can't see because my little ticker is down here, but in week 2 he had negative 0.3 fantasy points, and in week 3 he had 0.3 fantasy points. Both of the the 1 week he came in and handed off, he handed off the ball, or it was a rushing attempt, went for a negative 3 yards, and the other game he handed off the ball once and had a 3-yard rush. So both of those games he had one handoff and one run. One of them he had negative 3 yards. The other one he had 3 yards. It averages out to 0 in those 2 games. He was not the quarterback. He did not make quarterback plays. He was just brought in specific situations to get a first down or whatever, because Russell Wilson was banged. I think in one of them it was to get a first down, and the other one was Russell Wilson was banged up, and Jackson Dart just had to come in for a play or 2 plays, gave the handoff, made an emergency scramble, came out of the game. That was it. Take those 2 zeros away, and my dude, I mean, he averaged 18 points with 2 zeros, and he did not play the full season. So those 2 zeros bring his score down even more than it would if he played the entire 17 weeks. So Jackson Dart has extreme value. If you're fading Jackson Dart, I don't know. You might want to switch that up and fade someone else instead. I really like this team, and I really like this video. I hope you guys really like me. And if you got anything from this, strategy, player takes, anything at all, there's lots more videos coming. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, come back, do a bunch more drafts with me, and let's win some money this year and every year, but especially this year.